Widow's Bay just wrapped up its first season on one seriously eerie note, like the calm before a really menacing storm. After an unintentional sacrificial offering shakes things up, the town manages to settle back into some kind of normalcy. But Mayor Tom Loftus? He's just had a revelation that could completely flip his entire worldview upside down. And trust me, things are about to get a whole lot more complicated. Season 1 recap and setup. So here's where we left off. All season long, Tom was desperate to bring the outside world to Widow's Bay, and later his mission shifted to breaking the curse, the one that keeps his son Evan and every other person born on the island trapped there forever. But by the finale, Tom discovers something massive. Evan might actually be the last living direct blood descendant of Richard Warren, the founder of the town and the very person who created the curse in the first place. Which means as long as Evan is alive, the curse lives on. That completely changes everything for Tom and sends the story in a whole new direction heading into Season 2. Season 2 renewal and release date. Now for the good news. Apple TV Plus officially greenlit Widow's Bay for a second season back in June, so we know this story is continuing. There's no specific release date announced yet, but based on production timelines, the new season could potentially hit screens as early as 2028. Season 2 plot predictions. So what can we expect from Season 2? Well, for most of Season 1, the story was about Tom trying to defeat the curse. And he actually went as far as poisoning an elderly woman named Ruth to try and end it. Dark, right? But Ruth survives, and she drops a bombshell. Evan is her only surviving descendant through his mother, Lauren, Tom's deceased wife. That makes Evan one of the last anchors keeping the curse tied to the island. So in Season 2, Tom's whole mission flips. Instead of trying to break the curse, he'll likely be fighting to protect it, or more specifically, protect Evan, because anyone who wants to lift the curse will need Evan out of the picture. And the most dangerous threat? That's probably going to be Bashir, the town's sheriff. He's a non-local, and his wife might actually give birth right there in Widow's Bay, which means his child could end up trapped on the island forever too. Bashir's already shown he's willing to hurt innocent people to protect his family, just like Tom has. So you've got two fathers, two very different agendas, and a collision course that's going to be explosive. Returning cast. Now let's talk about who we can expect to see back in Season 2. And the good news is, pretty much the whole town is coming back. You've got Matthew Rhys returning as Mayor Tom, along with his inadvertently assembled ragtag crew. Kate O'Flynn is back as Patricia, Stephen Root returns as Wick, and Kevin Carroll is back as Bashir, whose role in the story becomes more and more ambiguous by the finale. And of course, Kingston Rumi Southwick returns as Evan, who is now arguably the most important person in the entire show. On the town hall side of things, expect Dale Dickey back as Rosemary, Kay Callan as Ruth, and Jeff Hiller as Dale. And then there's the wider community of Widow's Bay. Neil Casey as Kurt the innkeeper, Nancy Lenehan as Jerry the historian, Beck Nolan as PJ the troublemaking teen, Christian Clemenson as Dr. Morgan, and Sipiwe Moyo as Chell, Bashir's wife. Of course, a new season will almost certainly bring in some new faces too. Horror tropes and Season 2 storylines. One of the most fun things about Widow's Bay is how it plays with horror tropes, and Season 2 is going to keep doing exactly that. Season 1 took us through serial killers, killer clowns, sea hags, haunted houses, and more. Each episode diving into a different corner of the horror genre, all filtered through this slightly comedic lens that makes the show completely unique. And here's the thing, the curse still hasn't been lifted, which means the town is guaranteed more horror ahead. Specifically, those ominous tolling bells are promising to keep unleashing fresh terrors unless the community comes up with 8 human sacrifices. No big deal, right? The show has also already dropped hints about some seriously dark chapters in the town's history that could take center stage in Season 2, like the brief period of cannibalism in the early settlement, the various sailors lost at sea, and deeper dives into the stories of the Boogeyman, the dead captain, and the killer clown. There is genuinely so much this show still has to explore, and Season 2 has a lot to work with. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more.